As a New Yorker, you're always defending New York at its worst, right? When people attack it for being filthy, for being crowded, or for people being rude. All my life, I've said, you just don't get it. You don't understand, or that's part of what makes New Yorkers tough. We can survive it, you can't. And only in the last year, with COVID and what Mayor de Blasio, Governor Cuomo have done, have I come around to, I was wrong, and these people are right.
I'm Dave Rubin, and we're doing something a little different today. I am live in studio with my guest who is just outside. I have not seen him yet, but I have been told that he is wearing a tiny mask due to proper safety protocols related to COVID. Here he is, Michael. Michael Malice. Welcome to the Rubin
Dave.
Report.
Good to see you.
It's good to see you again.
Can I feel your face?
Yes, feel my face. This is very exciting. I didn't know what you were going to be doing today. You told me you had something in store for me. It's good to see you.
I wish I could say the same, but I can't, honestly.
First off, I love the suit. The color's great. The shirt's nice. Tie. The whole shebang. Where did you get this little face getup? I know COVID's very serious, and you've been very serious about it.
You didn't even praise the shoes.
Your shoes. The whole thing is.
These are seal leather from the 70s.
Is that right?
Uh-huh.
When you could get seal leather.
That's right.
Yeah, that's very
Not
impressive.
like nowadays.
No, you can't get it. You have to get it on the black market now. I have a feeling we're going to do the entire interview this way.
Well, of course. We can't joke around.
No, this is serious.
This is playtimes.
Yeah.
I don't want to kill your grandma.
No, thank you. They're both dead.
Well, I don't want to kill her again.
Already, yeah. So you've been walking around like this, I assume, wandering through LA with your...
I have a little cane and one of those dogs.
Yeah.
And I fit right in. Now, this is what I want to ask you. One of the things that I've seen when I'm walking around LA, I'm from New York, as you know. Many people know.
You're a Brooklyn guy.
I've lived there all my life. And now I'm at the point where I'm joined the chorus of, well, let me take a step back. As a New Yorker, you're always defending New York at its worst, right? When people attack it for being filthy, for being crowded, or for people being rude. All my life, I've said, you just don't get it. You don't understand, or that's part of what makes New Yorkers tough. We can survive it, you can't. And only in the last year, with COVID and what Mayor de Blasio, Governor Cuomo have done, have I come around to, I was wrong, and these people are right. What they've done to New York City, the crown jewel of America, one of the great cities of all time, is unforgivable and unacceptable. And there's no possibility, in my opinion, of things getting better. And I'm curious.
Ever? You think they can never get
better? In the medium term.
Yeah.
In the medium term. There's no mechanism for it to get better.
Yeah.
If I'm a young person and I want to make a store that sells like artisanal socks, cheeses, I'm a young restaurateur, I want to open up a cool new restaurant. Why would I go into New York City now where every single regulation is against me, where I'm being told constantly, maybe not explicitly, but implicitly, we don't want you here, you're not welcome, New York is not open for business, and we're just going to shut you down at the drop of a hat. And I feel as if LA is kind of similar in that vein, that it's going to get worse because there's no mechanism for it to get better. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, well, as you know, I think LA is an absolute disaster, and I've only been to New York once since, I can't believe I'm talking to you in this thing. This is really, you look good. This is actually the best you've looked, honestly.
Well,
this
of course, you have to see my hideous face.
No, I've only been to New York once since this whole thing happened. I was in Midtown Manhattan because I was doing the Gutfeld show at Fox, and it was scary. It felt like I Am Legend. There were no business people out. There were only people out walking alone with masks and hats, and it was kind of cold, so jackets, and everyone looks kind of shady, and there's cops and a lot of barricades and all that stuff, and it's like, how does this ever come back? And here, I mean, the main, I don't want to say exactly where we are, but the main drag here, still a ton of boarded up stuff. There's what mom and pop shop? Forget young people, you said young people. What person that had their business closed in the last year that is experienced, maybe even has a little money, could be like, yeah, let's do it again. Let's do it again so Newsom can shut us down next month when we have the climate lockdowns or COVID-2 or Give me something better than that.
The only possibility of things getting better, I tweeted this this week. If Caitlyn Jenner runs on a campaign of hitting and running Governor Newsom, I think she would get elected in a landslide. But here's what people don't appreciate. They thought one day Detroit could never go anywhere. Not only was Detroit Motor City, the home of the automobile industry, the music coming out of Detroit still resonates decades later, still legendary decades later.
Yep.
Now Detroit is a bombed out shelter, of a hole in the ground of what it used to be. Hollywood, in my view, is running on fumes, on inertia of the golden age. You know, you go to LA, every pretty girl, every hunk from their hometown, as you did, comes to Los Angeles to make their name, to make their mark. And now the movie industry doesn't have that cachet. It's not like the place you have to be anymore, because thanks to the internet, there's so many more venues for young filmmakers, especially internationally, to, on a small budget, create and innovate something amazing. Parasite, you know, which came out of South Korea, won the Academy Award. There's such a hunger and it's not even a right or left wing thing. There's such a hunger for new voices, new creativity, but Hollywood and these media establishment entities are so corporate that whether you're reading a comic book or you're reading about the Middle Ages or you're reading about a documentary, the messaging, the culture, the punchlines are all going to be the same. So why would you come here where you can hang up your shingle and be a filmmaker and be as opposed to Hollywood, and you're going to have an edge that way?
Or we're going out to dinner after this. Are you going to be dressed like this?
Well, sure.
How you going to eat? How you going to eat?
Well, I mean, I'm on a cut. I'm going to be doing an underwear ad, so.
Are you shocked? So look, you live in Brooklyn. I was born in Brooklyn, and I've only lived in New York and now LA. You're a New Yorker, a true New Yorker.
Yes.
Are you shocked how quickly everybody folded, and that still now people, I assume, in Brooklyn are wandering around with masks outdoors, and the dingbats that I'm walking by over here are doing the same?
To tell you what level of New Yorker I am in the audience, I don't know how to drive. So I'm going to have to learn how to drive. I'm shocked.
That's a true New Yorker. That's the true New York.
This is what I'm shocked about. I am shocked to what level Americans who have prided themselves on their sense of defiance, who in 2016 had an opportunity to vote for someone in large part to just give the finger to the corporate press, how solidly they folded in the wake of these lockdowns and were subservient. And what's even worse, and this is where it gets from the point of, okay, maybe you're a little bit weak, maybe you're a little bit fearful. I can wrap my head around that. I'm not a particularly tough guy. But when you see things like in Canada, there was a woman who tweeted, I'm sure you saw this, I'm sure many people saw this. There was I think it was Ontario, where the message went out that your children should be quarantined in a room in your home for 2 weeks. And when I went after this, people couldn't even believe it. They assumed I meant just being locked in your house with your family, which isn't ideal, but it's hardly a nightmare.
Right.
And the woman was tweeting that it was heartbreaking for her to hear her child banging on the door saying, "Mommy, I'm lonely," or "Mommy, whatever it was, I'm scared." And I'm thinking to myself, I don't care what your political persuasion is. If you or I or virtually anyone listening to this, if you're like at a mall and there's a child who's lost and scared, if they're not ugly, you stop and you're like, "What's wrong? How can I help you? Let's find your mom and dad. Let's keep you entertained and calm until mom and dad get here." This is just humanity 101, and I say this as someone without any facial features. So to have people not only do this, but to post about it on social media, and not just, you would think that I could even wrap my head around being like, "Oh yeah, I'm totally doing this," and at home being like, "I don't care what the news says. I'm not going to not hug my children."
Exactly.
So I'm an uncle now. I've got 2 nephews. I absolutely adore them. And if someone says, lock them in a room for 2 weeks, we're not having a conversation. That is you declaring war on my family.
If you're looking for more honest and thoughtful conversations about politics instead of nonstop yelling, check out our politics playlist. And if you want to watch full interviews on a variety of topics, watch our full episode playlist all right over here. And to get notified of all future videos, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell.